Hey guys, it's Brad with Real Entrepreneur Secrets, and I'm actually sitting in my car waiting for um, Isabella. She's sick and has spiked a temperature over 104, and I'm sitting here, and as a parent, as a father, one of the most hopeless feelings ever is when something happens to your kids, right? Something happens where they're sick like this or they get injured. I mean, I can remember years ago getting a phone call for Mackenzie when she was at school, and she had fallen off of the monkey bars and then ended up breaking her elbow. And I got the call. I showed up to pick her up, and she wasn't crying. She didn't seem like she was in a ton of pain. And so rather than take her right to the hospital, we went to a doctor's office. And when I took her in, as soon as the doctor got the x-rays back, the doctor was on the phone, a little bit elevated in her delivery, talking to the hospital, saying these people are on the way, and asked if we wanted an ambulance. And I was like, no, I can drive her. But she did not express to us the severity of the break. And so it wasn't until we actually got to the hospital that we found out they had prepped the OR. They were ready for Ken's when she got there, and she ended up going immediately in for surgery. Um, and that feeling does not change when anything happens with your kids. And I'm sitting here, and Isabel's older now. She's dang near a grown up, but there's really nothing I can do except help treat the symptoms. And I have an amazing opportunity because her mother is a nurse practitioner, right? Was on an acute trauma team at the Primary Children's Hospital, and so I'm not on my own to try to support this. Cheyenne and I, we do what we can to help, but her mom also has a high level understanding of medicine, right? But all we can do is treat the symptoms. And it really got me thinking about the Matt Maddox talk at Funnel Hacking Live, right? Like, and I touched on this the other day, but it just really brought it back to the forefront of how we can steel our kids mentally and emotionally, so that whatever happens in life, they can take on that challenge. And one of the cool things that Matt did with his son, Caleb, was when he was young, instead of paying him to do chores, he paid him to read books. And read books like Think and Grow Rich, like Being Happy, As a Man Thinketh, all of these different resources that really gave him the mental strength to be who he is today. And I just, as I sit here, with a sick kid, I look back and I think that is probably one of the greatest things that we could ever do as parents, right? Is to help prepare our kids so that no matter what they have come up, no matter what they face, they can adapt and overcome. Being in the military, being a medic with the Marine Corps, even though I was in the Navy, adapt and overcome was a mantra, right? Like, nothing ever happened exactly as it was planned, and it only happened almost perfectly in training. Nothing ever happens perfectly when it's actually go time, when it's real life and real speed, high speed, but being able to adapt and overcome, having that skill set and teaching our kids to have that type of mental strength, that's the thing that I think is the greatest gift we can bring to our children, and then that to the world, right? Because if everybody is operating at a higher level and a higher consciousness, everybody, the high tide, all boats rise with the tide. I don't know the saying. I was a sailor, but I was with the Marines, so I was always in the dirt. But yeah, the tide rises or the boats all rise with the tide, right? So everybody operating on a higher consciousness, everybody rises to a higher level, and then all of a sudden, the world starts becoming a better place, just one piece at a time. So this is just a quick Facebook Live into what's going through my mind today as I'm sitting here, stressing a little bit, worrying about my kid. I anticipate that we're gonna get past this high temperature. We've got a lot of strategies to use to do that, but it's something that, doing the right things with helping our kids be strong mentally. We never have to have that feeling of hopelessness. And then that ties into other things. My other post the other day of how I got into a place where mentally I started going down that spiral because I did not continue to stay around people who were positive, right? I didn't stay around people who helped me look and further and try to grow. And if we're not growing, like Tony Robbins says, if we're not growing, we're dying. And so all of this for me, it really does tie together. But a huge thanks, a huge shout out to Matt Maddox and really what he brought to Funnel Hacking Live and the insights and the change that he has started and the change that his son Caleb is creating in the world. And so a huge thanks to those guys. I'll keep you posted. I'm sure Isabella's going to be great and fine. And I will see you guys on my next post. So it's Brad with Entrepreneur Secrets, and I definitely will see you on the right side of success.